Okay, legal reform on Facebook. When I was talking to you on the last video about public service, public servants, uh, I mentioned to you that judges, lawyers, cops, how everybody takes an oath. You can look up those oaths yourself, but this is something I want to go. This has been going. This is supposed to happen a long time ago. Basic obligations of public service. This is by the U.S. Department of Interior, March 3rd. Okay, let's open that up. Understanding the law isn't that difficult. The only difficult part about it is just opening up a book or the internet and reading it. Okay, Departmental Ethics Office. Okay, U.S. Department of Interior. Different parts of it you can check on. All right. Basic obligations of public service. The foundation of ethical behavior, Executive Order 12674. Thomas Jefferson enunciated the basic principles of public service. When a man assumes a public trust, he should consider himself as public property. This sentiment has been expressed by numerous others over time, becoming a familiar principle. Public service is a public trust. Now, if you remember in a lot of my other videos, I always mention that the law must be in the public interest to obtain the public trust, or it says in the rules of professional conduct to maintain the public trust. So I'll get to that, telling you what laws shouldn't be laws. All right, but the sentiment has been expressed by numerous others over time, becoming the familiar principle. Public service is a public trust. To ensure public confidence in the integrity of the federal government, Executive Order 12674 as amended from the framework of ethical behavior required and expected for all federal employees. As a condition of public service, you are expected to adhere to the fundamental principles of ethical behavior. Public service is a public trust, requiring you to place loyalty to the Constitution, the laws, and ethical principles above private gain. You shall not hold financial interests that conflict with the conscientious performance of duty. You shall not engage in financial transaction using non-public government information or allow improper use of such information to further any private interest. You shall not expect, pursuant to such reasonable expectations as provided by regulations, solicit or accept any gift other item of monetary value from any person or entity seeking official action from, doing business with, or conducting activities regulated by your agency, or whose interests may be substantially affected by the performance of non-performance of your duties. You shall make no unauthorized commitments or promises of any kind purporting to bind the government. You shall put forth an honest effort in the performance of your duties. You shall not engage in outside employment or activities, including seeking or negotiating for employment that conflict with your official government duties and responsibilities. You shall disclose waste, fraud, abuse, and corruption to appropriate authorities. You shall satisfy in good faith your obligations as citizens, including all financial obligations, especially those such as federal, state, and local taxes that are imposed by law. You shall adhere to all laws and regulations that provide equal opportunity for all Americans, regardless of race, religion, color, sex, including pregnancy, gender identity, and sexual orientation, parental status, national origin, age, disability, family medical history, or genetic information, political affiliation, or military service. You shall not use your public office for private gain. You shall act impartially and give preferential treatment to any. You shall act impartially and not give preferential treatment to any private organization or individual. You shall protect and conserve federal property and shall not use it for other than authorized activity. You shall endeavor to avoid any actions creating the appearance that you are violating the law, the standards of ethical conduct for employees of the executive branch, or Executive Order 12674. A collection of statutes, executive orders, and regulations underscore the notion that public service is a public trust. Criminal bribery and conflict of interest statutes, 18 U.S.C. 201 and 202-209 respectively, and the core federal ethics program. These statutes are implemented in large part by the Standard of Ethical Conduct for Employees of the Executive Branch Standards 5 CFR Part 2635 and Supplemental Standards of Ethical Conduct for Employees, Department of Interior DOI Supplemental Standards. Violations of ethic laws are subject to criminal or civil action by the Department of Justice. Violation of standard DOI supplemental standards may result in disciplinary action or adverse service. Accordingly, employees are strongly encouraged to consult with an ethics counselor before embarking on any activity if they have any questions about their ethical propriety of that action. Okay, so maybe you'll understand why PACs shouldn't exist. Political action committees, lobbying. You know, if you combine that where it says in the Declaration of Independence, every man created equal, you know, you're not being treated as an equal when they allow PACs, lobbyists, shadow lobbyists to exist. Everything they work for is for their personal gain. And when you allow lobbyists to pay senators, governors, politicians to see things their way, that usually winds up they're serving themselves, and you know they're paying off your politicians to serve them as well. Now, when it comes to Constitution, you know, our government is meant to serve the greater good, we the people, and they put the many, the few above the need of the many. Remember, these people are public servants. Okay, that's all I'm trying to get to. It wasn't that long, not that long or hard to understand. Okay, they even got a Facebook page. See down there. But you need to understand this, okay? Yeah, put it there for you so you can read it. It's not that hard to understand. You know, anybody that works for the government, now this said federal, but state as well, they are a public service. They're there to serve the public trust, okay? No law, and I'll get into that when I go over the rules of professional conduct, no law can be made that is not in the public interest. It must serve the public trust. Okay, Pops, legal reform on Facebook. I'm out.